Time to refocus once again, and this is the moment when we go through an old shoot match, 90 minutes, and we look at those player questionnaires that they used to do back in the day and see how much the subject can remember about themselves when they were young. Now, the plan today was Trevor Francis was in the building recording My Sporting Life, but the timings didn't work out. Trevor had to rush off, so our plan to bring you Trevor Francis as a refocus went fairly late doors, as they say in football circles. So we thought, well, look, the best way to approach this is to give you an alternative take on Trevor's past
at all.
with the alternative Trevor Francis. Trevor, good afternoon.
Yes, very good afternoon, Paul and Andy. Lovely to speak to you on this occasion.
It was such a... Well, we've spoken before, haven't we, really?
We've spoken on many occasions.
We have, yeah.
Of course we have, yeah, absolutely.
Now, yes, Trevor, unfortunately, you weren't able to do it for us today, but it's so great that alternative Trevor Francis is able to do it. So let's see how much you remember about Trevor Francis.
This should be interesting.
It should be, yeah. Now, Trevor, when you were at Birmingham City, what do you think you weighed? We often ask the players what they weighed.
Well, I know, what year are we talking about?
Well, I'm looking at it. You look quite youthful. You're playing against Manchester United. Sammy McIlroy's on the board. Looks like big Gordon McQueen.
I would say in those days at Birmingham City, I probably would have weighed about 125 stone.
Because, I'm not sure that's right.
No, I was carrying the rest of the team.
Oh, okay.
Ah, yes, of course.
So, therefore, ipso facto, 120. No, but if they all climbed off for 5 minutes, which occasionally happened, then probably say 10 stone 6.
Well, no, you're
11 stone 5.
11 stone 5, unfortunately, Trev. You were a bit heavier than that. You must have been on the pies.
What car did you drive, Trevor?
Oh, that's a good question.
I thought we were sending you the form.
Yeah, but he chose not to have a look at it. But we'll find out how that pans out. Carry on.
I did, well, it's all about staying in character.
It is.
I did do a lot of driving in those days because, of course, I was perpetually injured with knee problems. And
yes.
I do remember being, being in for treatment one day on the physio table, and Joe Gallagher came in and said, "Are they looking after you at the moment?" And I said, "Well, yeah, they're just giving me a cortisone injection." And he said, "You lucky git." Well, they gave me with a Hillman imp.
He's doing the after dinner stuff. It's
That's
great,
good, isn't it?
So
I would probably say I was driving, let's say, a Ford Capri.
Well, it's
good
similar.
guess.
A sporty number. You were in the Opel Manta Berlinetta.
Of course I was.
Yeah, of course you.
Of course I was, yes. Natural evolution from the Capri.
Favourite other team,
nice
Trevor?
car.
What was your favourite other team? Can you remember?
I'd probably have to say, seeing as I've still got the accent from, the old West Country, I'd have to say Plymouth Argyle.
It is.
Spot on.
Yeah,
well
done,
remembered, Trevor.
You remembered that.
Your favourite player at the time was related to a well-known cricketer who's now retired but played for Surrey. Do you know who your favourite player was?
It's a bit hard, isn't it? I doubt if Trevor himself could have remembered that.
What?
Don't ask me, Andy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it was Roger Hamilton Brown.
What? I've never heard of him.
Roger Hamilton Brown, father of Rory from Dorridge FC, and I don't know if you know Dorridge FC.
Oh, very leafy. Yes, love Dorridge. Very nice place.
Yes, and Roger.
That's what you have for your breakfast every day, Trev, isn't it? Because obviously, like
Dorridge. Roger gave himself that name. You'd think he was posh, but he wasn't. I was reading about it, and in fact, he was just Roger Brown, but he decided to call himself Roger Hamilton Brown.
Well, there goes the double barrel that confused me there.
It certainly
Roger Brown,
was.
of course, Roger Brown, yes, but no, Hamilton, no. Sorry.
What was your favourite food, Trev, at that time? Can you remember?
Favourite tunes.
Not tunes. I don't mean it was tunes latterly. But...
Maybe Fisherman's Friends at a push.
Yeah.
Fillet steak Rossini.
Fillet steak Rossini.
Do you know? I'll tell you what that was. That was basically a round of fillet steak.
Yeah.
On a bed of, it was sort of bread with a sort of pate, a bit of toast, pate, and then you put the steak on top. That's what that was.
Wow.
It's a real old school,
Yeah.
Like sort of 50s and 60s, very popular.
Sounds like I would have liked that, to be fair, yeah.
If you still want to try an Oslo Court, I would imagine you would still do it.
I think they still
like
do
a restaurant in London. They probably say it's today's special. So
I'm sure Solihull can cater for that sort of, need.
Yeah, that's right. Now, we got the favourite TV shows. You like the two Ronnies, any sports programmes, and you were quite keen on this fella as well, Trevor.
Oh, yes. Dave Allen, very funny man.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Dave Allen.
Of course, you know it was Benny Hill. And I remember you used to do that thing where you'd run around the pitch when you were at Forest, banging Archie Gemmell on the head, wouldn't you?
or Johnny Method.
Yeah, Johnny Method, that was it. The little game you used to have, yeah. Now, musically, you loved Elton John, Wings.
Well, I've got to be careful here, what I say, because so many of my good friends who are, very talented musically have, moved into, the leafy Warwickshire suburbs over the years. Jeff Lynne from ELO, Tony Iommi, the late great George Harrison, Andy Townsend. They've all, moved in to my... Andy Townsend, I know. He bought a Takamine acoustic off my great nemesis Ian Danter in 1992.
Wow. Has he mastered it yet? He's not mastered it?
I very much doubt it.
No. Well, look, funny you should mention Jeff Lynne. This was your other favourite band.
Brilliant.
You remember that?
Yeah, well, that's got me complimentary tickets for the O2 tomorrow night. Thanks very much.
That's fantastic. That worked out very well. If you weren't a footballer, what do you think you'd be, Trevor? What did you tell the shoot all those years ago?
I don't know. Dialect coach. I'm really not sure.
You said you would have been a teacher.
PE teacher.
It's
hard to read.
Yeah.
Yeah, or actually physiotherapy would have been handy if I could have taught myself that.
And the person in the world you'd most like to meet?
That's easy. I would like to have met Mr. William Danter back in about December 1967, and I'd have given him a swift kick in the jaffers so that this last 10 minutes of radio would never have happened.
Now, Danter, we must thank you for coming off the bench when Trevor couldn't make it at the death to bring us refocus today.
My pleasure. I'm a dead man.
Our own Stan Collin was enjoying this as well. Just tweeted about it.
Yeah. Trevor is aware of your impression, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Well, he was the manager at the club when I was doing the tannoy in the late 90s. Because there you are talking about tannoy stories. So he was aware of my work back then. He's very gracious about it.
Yeah.
Of course, it was his birthday this week. He's 62 now, bless him, old tricky Trev. But in terms of tannoy stories, I inadvertently invented something at Birmingham, and I know you've spoken about it on the show many years ago. Because what I used to do when Birmingham made a substitution, I used to leave a pause in between the name of the player coming off and the player coming on, because I wanted that player who was coming off to know if his work was being appreciated by the fans with a round of applause. You know what I mean? So it'd be like, coming off for Birmingham City, number 11, Peter and Love, then I'd leave a pause. He'd get a round of applause, and then I'd say, and replacing him, number 9, Andrew Johnson. And then AJ would get a round of applause. And because of force of habit, I started doing it for the opposition teams as well. We're going back to, this is like 99.
Yeah.
So we were a championship team at this point, and we didn't have many household names, in truth, turning up at St Andrews in the opposition lineups. So the Blues fans, being the brilliant, mischievous lot they are, picked up on me leaving a pregnant pause for the opposition substitutions and started doing the "who" chant, which of course then came to a brilliant head when Newcastle, Premier League Newcastle, came to St Andrews in a League Cup tie in October of 99, I think, and Alan Shearer was playing up front, had a stinker, and about 75 minutes in, with Birmingham 2-0 up, the board went up and Shearer's name was on it. And I swear to you, nearly 30,000 blue noses were all going, shh, 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 shh. This is it. They all went absolutely deathly quiet, and they knew I was, substitution for Newcastle United, replacing number 9, Alan Shearer. You've never heard anything like it. Just a glorious
that was the birth of it, was it?
That was the birth of it. It was not by design, completely by accident. And then when I left the commentary box and started working, doing as a football reporter up in the Midlands for BRMB, my best mate Keith Laurent took the job that I had, and he took it to the next level at a Bolton game a few months later,
when they made a change, coming off Idiger Johnson, who? Replacing him, number 11, Bo Hansen. Who? I said Bo Hansen.
Okay.
We just got a round of applause and everything. So, listen, Keith just took it to the next level, but those were halcyon days, I have to tell you.
A pressure job, Dance. Is it on the tannoy? Did you make any terrible errors over the years?
I don't remember. Well, I don't remember making any terrible errors. I remember having to tell people to keep off the pitch after Watford had beaten us in a playoff semi-final penalty shootout. Mm-hmm. The last thing you wanted to do was talk down the microphone then, because I'd have turned the air royal blue.
Yeah.
But you just go, keep off the pitch, because you're going to get fined. I don't remember making any hideous cock-ups. We used to have this thing where you would elicit a cheer by saying, will the owner of car registration XYZ123 please go back to his vehicle, or the police will tow it away. And it was going away from the crowd. That was always the idea.
It's all so cool. It's all changed now, isn't it? Really? It's not quite quite the way it was, sadly. Well, Dan, it's a pleasure as always.
I will